Payment claims don't need to be hard. You don't need a bookkeeper or accounting software, you just need the right steps. Hi, I'm Kevin from Cornerstone Estimating, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to prepare payment claims step by step so you get paid on time. So what is a payment claim? Basically, it's just a document where you track how much work you've done on site and then the corresponding payment for that work completed. Under the Security of Payment Act, under Section 14, a payment claim is a person referred to in Section 9.1 who is or who claims to be entitled to a progress payment and may serve a payment claim on the person who, under the construction contract concerned, or may be liable to make a payment. So basically, it's a fancy way of saying getting paid for the work that you've done. In construction, payment claims are extra important because it's basically the only tool that you have that converts work done on site into money in your bank account. And it's important to formalize your payment claims, to have one payment claim per job, to keep things organized and on track. So how do we prepare and submit our payment claim? I've just got here on screen the template that I use for all of my clients. And what we're gonna go through is how to prepare our first payment claim, which is the most amount of work. And then I'm going to show you a couple of interim payment claims, and I'm going to show you the final claim, which has some minor differences between each. Okay, so first things first, for the payment claim template, it assumes that you have won a job at a particular contract sum. So for this example, I've got an estimate here, which I did for one of my clients, and it's a tiling and waterproofing package. And we're going to assume that we tendered for this job and he's won it. So the estimate that I did for him is shown here. And basically I've done it elementally, where I've got prelims, clarifications, floor prep, waterproofing, tiling, etc. Now, this is called elementally because it's all elements of the work. There's no breakdown for the areas. Like, for example, this external tiling PAV01 is scattered throughout the job. So our goal for the payment claim is to separate the contract sum into work areas or into different levels. And I'll show you how to do that now. So there's a video that I did recently where I show you how to export this measure into this takeoff and how to tidy up this data. I'm just going to show you how we manipulate this pivot table so that we get the work breakdown areas that I was talking about before. So I will just start again. I want the levels. I want locations. I want descriptions, and I want the code. So we'll just muck around with this area, with this sequence. So level is my priority, location is my second priority, and then description, code, and how we look it. So we got B1, all the works required, B2, all the works required in B2, and obviously we've got the code as well. Maybe I want the common areas separated out. So to get the common areas, I'm gonna put my location above my level here. Right, so location above like that. So we're gonna do the common area first. So common area, so we're gonna grab this document. Okay, so that's my summary, which I've already pre-filled the common areas and the apartments and the different levels, so B2, B1. We're gonna go to breakdown, and then we're gonna repeat the same steps. So I'm just gonna do this real quick. So for B2 breakdown, this is gonna be another header, and then we're gonna just copy and paste all of this. Okay, so copy that, paste that in like that. So now we just copy the quantities over, lift, pit, and the screed. These are the wall areas. So copy and paste into here, okay? And then we're gonna take these two, which is your lift, pit, waterproofing, and planter screed. Okay, and then this is the all square meter. And then the rate that I had was lift, pit, waterproofing, $40, and that's $40 as well. And the planter screed is that times that. Okay, so basically what I'm illustrating here is that we want to repeat this step for every single line here, right? That way we know exactly what scope of works we have in each level and the quantity and the rate for each item. Now, before you send this off to your client, to the builder, I've got this grouped up here. So always hide your quantity and rate because they basically don't need to see it. They just need to see if the lift pit in B2 is done, and then they just need to certify whatever you're claiming. So I'm just gonna do this off screen now and just populate every single line so you know what I mean. Okay, so I didn't populate every single level because there's quite a bit, but I've done just a good example here. So I've done a section for common areas and a section for apartments. Okay, so you've got your contract sum, you've broken up your contract sum into this amount. Let's say it adds up to 275. And then now you can start claiming the works that you've completed on the month. So let's say you've completed all of B2 and B1 in the common areas. So we'll just copy that, paste that there, copy that, paste that there. And then maybe you did half of level 1. Let's say you've done the screening and waterproofing, and then you've started doing some of the internal tiling and what have you. Okay, so let's say that's what you want to claim for your first month, and it's up to $47,000. Cool. When we come back to the summary, what I will do is we'll need to do a subtotal 9. Subtotal. Just quickly do that. Perfect. And we're just going to carry it forward to the summary. So this one, let's call it this one. And then we got these two. And so we're now going to link this summary into the breakdown. We gotta do subtotals for that too, don't we? Okay. Sorry, we gotta do subtotals for that first. So that. Okay. So in your first claim, we just want to copy the breakdown. So this will equal B2, which is the cumulative here. This will equal B1, which is here, L1. This will equal L2. So 47,810, 47,810. So we're looking pretty good. So you prepared your first payment claim, just like that. I know there are more levels in this job, but I'm just showing you a few levels here as an example. Yeah, and as I said earlier, the reason why we want to illustrate the works in the required level is so that if there's ever a dispute for the percentage of the work done, whether it's 50% or less or more, you can always go into this area up in the apartment, level 1, the balcony pod paver, and then determine whether or not the percentage is correct. So this method of doing it is a lot of work, but it confirms your cash flow and it doesn't leave any opportunity for the builder to short pay you money that you're owed. So yeah, it's just important to mention here the claim period. For this example, we're gonna just do claim number 1. And we're gonna say that this is all the works done in the month of September. So the contract reference date is the day that you're allowed to submit a claim under the Security of Payment Act, and then the payment claim date is just the date of it. So these two typically will match. Payment terms can be 30 days. Let's say it's 30 days end of the month. Therefore, payment due date is 30th of September 2025. What is important to mention is that all of the works that you're claiming is done in your first payment claim number 1 is the works that you've completed in September. Which is a 30-day period. The reason why that's important is because you want to be clear in which month did you claim what, so that you clearly delineate what has already been claimed so that you don't double claim. And that's actually the source for the bookkeeping issues that my clients always have, is because they don't get paid for the previous month, or they get short paid for the previous month, so they claim it again and then they end up double claiming, but both of the double claim gets added together into cumulative claim. I know it's very confusing, but I'm going to show you in the interim payments how we stop these bookkeeping issues from happening. And basically it has to do with acknowledging what the builder has certified to you in his payment schedule. Now, I also want to make mention here about retention. What retention is: a cash security or a cash incentive for you as the subcontractor to come back and do your works or oblige the obligations in your contract in order to achieve the release of this retention. So what I mean is, you will have 5% of your contract being the limit of the retention. So they will draw down 10% of your retention up until this value hits 50%. And then once it hits 50%, you would have reached the limit of retention, which is 5%. And I've just got this, formula up here. It's just an if formula on how to calculate the retention. So that, let's say for example, if this value gets to, 200,000, it caps at 5% of the contract sum. And to prove it to you, I'll open up my calculator, bring that up, and we'll do 0.05 of the contract sum, 275,984.55. That's right, so 1977. But as long as this value is less than 50% of this number, so let's say it's 150. Nope, that's more than 50%. Let's say it's 100. See how that's 10% of that value? So this figure here will stop once it reaches the 5% limit of retention, right? And this formula is how it automatically calculates. So let's fix that now. Put that back to the subtotal formula. And let's say you're ready to submit. We're just gonna hide these quantities and these rates. You don't need to show the builder the quantity and rate. They're more concerned of the amount, making sure that this final figure adds up to your contract sum. What you can do now is you just highlight all the sheets, Control P to print, and then you've got all the sheets here. Page one, which is the summary, and then page 2, which is the breakdown, the full breakdown for that summary, right? And then they add up to the same values, 275,000 and then 275. And then if there's any variations, that'll be on page 3. So this is the variation summary, and then each sheet here would be the breakdown of each variation. So yes, you would just print this as a PDF, as one PDF, and then send it off to the builder as your first payment claim. Oh, also one more thing, when you submit all your claims, have this wording in every single claim. This payment claim is made under the Building Construction Industry Security of Payment Act, and that is just a requirement under SOPA, which I'll show you now. So a payment claim must be in the relevant prescribed form, which I've just given you the form, and that's the form that most builders will make you use. Yeah, it must contain the prescribed information. It must identify the construction work or the related goods and services to which the progress payment relates. So we've done that through the breakdown. It must indicate the amount of progress payment that the claimant claims to be due. So then how much percentage is done and then how much amount is due against that percentage. And then here's the fun part. This must state that this is made under this act. And that's the reason for this wording here. This payment claim is made under this blah, 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 blah. Okay, so you need that. So let's say now month number 2 has gone by and you've done more works and there's a couple of variations that have been thrown in. So the very first thing we need to do is we need to update this payment claim so that it's ready for our month number 2 inputs. And what I mean by that is we just got to update the previous column. Now, this is a very, 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 very critical step because this is what will stop all bookkeeping issues if you do this correctly. And I'll show you how to do that now. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you the folder structure as well. Let's say you've got a folder here, payment claim number 1, and this is for September. And then you've got another one, and now you're working on payment claim number 2, and this is for October. Okay, this is payment claim number 1, chuck it in here. So this is the work that you've done and there's no issues. So what we're going to do is now we're going to copy this folder, put it in the October folder. So we're using payment claim number 1 as the starting point for how we're going to do our claim for number 2. So update any other particulars here. So that becomes October. You need to update all of these particulars. October, payment claim number 2, and then payment due date, which is, let's just say let's call it 1st of December. And then this doesn't change. And then this changes to October. Okay, this part is very critical. We need to put what was previously certified. We would copy this figure and we would hard code it here, and it will be the negative value of that. The goal is to achieve a net total claim of 0. That is the starting point. One thing that I do want to mention is that the less previously certified payment, this figure is not what you've claimed, it's what was certified to you in the builder's payment schedule. So let's just populate this previously certified column, which assumes the builder has short paid you some amount, all right? Then the amount is arbitrary. So what we'll do first is we'll just take whatever we claim from payment 1. So this is the claim from payment 1, okay? So that's the amount before retention. And we're just going to now populate this. Okay, so now our current month's claim is 0, and that's just a formula for K minus L, these two columns. And then we will say the builder short paid this value, and the builder didn't want to pay this value. The way we're going to manage the bookkeeping is we've got these hidden columns here just to track what has transpired. So I'll just update these dates. So this is 30th of, or let's call it 30th of September. So in September, we're going to put down whatever the builder paid to us. All right, so that's what the builder paid us. So even though we claimed 47,000 and the builder only certified to us 43,000, we want to take the 43,000 as what we're going to be paid. Now, this is where a lot of subbies will get really emotional about their cash flow and be like, oh, he can't just short pay me $4,000. That's money, that's work that I've done. So in this case, you really have only two options for how to get the balance amount back. The easy way to do it is you call the builder, have an open discussion about why he short paid you, and then hopefully you can meet in the middle and have an understanding there. Maybe he can revise his certificate to certify more amount or more money. But under the Security of Payment Act, he actually doesn't need to revise his payment schedule. He's already obliged his obligation by giving you the payment schedule, and he can totally ignore you unless you go to step 2, which is the more uncommon step, which is you take him to adjudication to dispute what he has certified in his payment schedule versus what you have claimed. Yeah, but that's basically the only formal way to get him to pay you what you believe you're owed. If you're going to take the builder to adjudication, you better be damn sure that this amount here can be proven and can be justified in the previous month of September. With that out of the way, we're going to now match what the builder has short paid us, and we make the current claim 0. So now we know that this payment claim number 2 is in line with whatever the builder has scheduled for September. In payment claim number 2 in October, we can start submitting our claim. This cannot be a negative number. This must be 0 before you start. This should just be this figure. Okay, done. What we could also do is we can do like a retention thing. So we do that times 0.1 and then we do sum. Okay, so we've got our certified, what the builder has certified, and we just minus the retention. That's fine. September, and then we're going to do claim number 2 now, and we're just going to start populating all this. So let's say we've done all of ground floor, the common areas. Let's say we've done 35K, and let's say we've done all of this. And let's say we're getting started on level 2 as well. So let's say your payment claim number 2, you're claiming 92% work done in the month of October. So cumulatively, that is 136 grand. After you take out the retention and you subtract last month's certificate, you're claiming 83,500. So same thing, you highlight all the sheets, print a PDF, your claim, and then repeat the process. So let's say another month goes by, and then now you're doing your payment claim number 3. And I'm just gonna show you one more time the process. So November, copy number 2, chuck it in November, update this to November, number 3, okay. So we repeat the process, update all these particulars for November, blah, 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 number 3, and November, like this. Remember, before we can start putting in our claim for payment claim number 3, we need to first acknowledge whatever was certified to us in payment claim number 2. What we want to do is we want to keep a track of what the builder has certified in October in this column. So we would copy all this, place it in here. Now we want to just get rid of the subtotals because that's going to mess up our formula, get rid of the subtotals. So that's what we claimed in payment claim number 2. So that's PC number 1, payment claim number 1, this is PC number 2. Now, let's say the builder shortchanges again and he said all of ground floor is only 80% done. He goes, that times 80%. Like that. And then we want to make sure that we're tracking what the builder has paid us. And then let's say he also short paid all of this 80% as well. So we'll do that times 80, like that, that, and then hard code it. So let's say we claimed 92 and he only certified 85. But when we update this previously certified, we need to be taking the value that he certified. I can't stress this enough. Understanding this will stop all the bookkeeping issues from constantly happening. So we will just put that in there like that, because that was what was previously certified, was in there, because that's what he certified. So there's two purposes here. The first objective is to put in the previously certified whatever the builder has scheduled, and then once we have that, we also want to zero out this current claim, so then we know what we're claiming in the payment claim number 3. So in this scenario here, he is paying for some of these two, which is 35, so that's right. And then here, that's all right. So these two, 66, if he shortchanged us that, he's saying he wants to pay that in the previous, which is this one. And then we need to match that. Same thing here, all of this, that is what was previously certified. And we need to update that here too. And then here's fine, and then here's fine. Okay, so to check this is correct, we add these two columns up together, and indeed it adds up to 129671. Because the previously certified is the accumulation of all the certificates added together, and we're tracking the builder certificate in these hidden columns here. And when I call these hidden columns, what I mean is these are not captured in the print zone, right? So they're just sitting off to the side here. Because if I do Control P, see, it's just showing the work that we're claiming here, and all this is our own internal working for our own reference. Now we come back to the summary. So this figure, the less previously certified payment, is just the sum of these two, right? 116704, and you know you're right when this number here, the net total claimed is 0. And this is how you know payment claim number 3 is now ready to be claimed. So I'm going to show you how to do that again. This time we're going to throw in some variations. So let's say we've got new upgrade tiles, and then we're going to do upgrade living room from timber to tile. So for VO1, we've got a sheet here. So we're going to copy this description. Okay, we're just going to do it. This is just an example. I'm going to show you real quick. Supply and install TL01, and then we're going to do 20 square meters at $100. That is the addition, and then we're going to do omission. So omission of existing cheaper tile. This is just really fast, but it'll match the same quantity. And let's say the cheaper tile was like, I don't know, 80 bucks. So the total variation work is for 400. We're gonna go to the variation sum, and then the variation amount is actually 400. Let's say in the month of November, you did 100% work done. And then we're gonna copy over another sheet, call that VO2. And then this VO2 is upgrade living room from timber to tiles. So there is no omission because timber is not your scope. So maybe you can write that omission of timber by others, and then you just go 0, 0, and then supply install of new tiles, and then call it, I don't know, 80, and then that's an 8,000 variation. So then we copy that, paste it here, and then say it's 100% work done. So now every time you have a new variation number, create a new sheet for the claim. So then it keeps it neat and tidy, where you only have one sheet to show the total summary of the variation. So this figure, 8,400, we're going to copy that, go to the summary. Oh, it's already carried forward. So we got variation. So this links to variation K29, which is K29, which is this cell here. That's perfect. Okay. And then this cell links to variation M29, which is M29 here. Cool, that works. Now, one thing to note is that the limit of retention, it depends on your contract, but typically speaking, the limit of retention will increase or decrease based on the adjusted contract sum. So the limit of retention is no longer that, it's now that. And it is increased because the variation has increased the value of that. And to prove it, I'll just put in here $1 million, and it'll cap at the new 5% of this figure here. Now, how do we claim this November claim? So let's say all of this is done, and let's say all of this is done, and let's say all of this is done. It's no longer 80%, it's 100%, okay? Our claim for the month is, so 107,000. If we go to the summary page, 236,980, 236,980, and then if we minus the previously certified, which we already confirmed is right, which is the sum of these two, and then add the variation that we're claiming, 8,400, which is from this sheet here, less the retention, less previously certified, which is the sum of these two, and that's done. Cool, I think that's ready to claim. Cool, so now we take all the sheets, Control P, and it's all in a nice, neat little package. You're claiming $114,000. Okay, so now I'm going to show you payment number 4. The reason why I'm repeating myself so much is because I'm trying to illustrate to you how we get around these bookkeeping issues, okay? So now we're going to do December's claim. We're going to copy that and then call this December, and then update that to December. Okay, so again, the builder will short pay you something, and we're just going to address all of that now. Update the particulars again, so December, and then now it's due on like, call it 1st of Feb. Okay, so in the summary, what else do we need to do? This is payment number 3 now. Okay, so we go to the breakdown and the variations, and we see what was paid. Okay, so the breakdown. Okay, let's say the builder acknowledged all that and the builder paid all that. So we'll put that in here. For this stuff, the builder short paid 80%. So let's say he does 80% of this, and then hard code that. And then hard code means you get rid of the formula, right? So instead of showing it as a formula, you copy and then you paste it as a value, and then now it becomes a physical number rather than a formula. And you would do the same for all of these cells here. Okay, cool. Now, what we've illustrated here is that across September, October, and November, and what basically what has been paid against each line, there is a clear breakdown of how much work has been done per month and how much money was released per month. And this is the work required to stop bookkeeping issues from happening. And if we sum these three, you get 229, and that's exactly what it is, what we're claiming cumulatively and what was previously certified. We'll need to do the same thing for the variations. For simplicity, let's just say that they acknowledge the variation and they paid, okay? So now if we go back to the summary, we've got 229,871, 229,871, and that is zeroed out based on what the builder has certified, so that's fine. We've reached the limit of retention, which is 14,219.23, 14,219.23, yep. And then, so for December's claim, the fourth claim, oh no, we still need to zero this out, which is 224,053. Whenever you're in doubt, the trick to making sure you don't get any bookkeeping issues is to take whatever the builder has scheduled to you. And if you're not happy with what the builder has scheduled, call him and politely negotiate with him to revise the payment schedule so that you get more of what you think you should be paid, and then have that discussion there. Or you'll have to take him to adjudication because he doesn't have to do it for you. And adjudication is the only way to get him to revise his payment schedule. So, okay, we're gonna do December's claim now. Let's say we want to claim the release of the first half retention, which is this, divided by 2. And then we also want to claim the remainder of the works. So we're claiming the full contract sum, 275,940, and then no more variations. So we'll basically 100% claim down on the contract sum and the variation, right? And we're claiming the release of the first half retention. That adds up to 53,000, so that's fine. Save that. Same thing, highlight all your sheets, Control P, submit it in for the end of December. And I guess just to do it real quick, I'm gonna show you how to do the final claim as well. December, let's call this Jan 26, and then update this to Jan 26. Yeah, and repeat all the same steps. For December, let's just say the builder still wants to short pay 95%. Okay, so we'll do that times 95%, and then we want to hard code that. To update this previous column, in fact, you know what would have been smarter? If we had just done like a subtotal column here, and then we do like something like that, and then just take that as the figure, right? Copy all this and paste it here, like that. And same here, copy all this, paste it here. Okay, and so to zero out, you would take that and match him or match the builder. Okay, so how are we looking? So we got December, there's no more retention because we've hit the limit, 14,219. Yeah, still the same, 14,219, so that's 0. With this spreadsheet, the goal I'm trying to illustrate here is that we want to take into consideration all of the builder's payment certificates and then use that as the basis for our previously certified column. I think the reason why bookkeeping issues and the fact that things can't reconcile, or subbies can't reconcile their payment claims, is because people don't know how to read a payment schedule, and they haven't even considered what the builder is certifying. They just look at their bank account, they've claimed 50,000, the bank account says 40,000, and then they've been short paid. So the last thing I'll mention about this process is that in order to get your retention back, there are 2 requirements that have to be satisfied. The first 2.5% release of retention will happen upon achieving practical completion, which is something that the builder has to achieve in his head contract, and then he'll get a certificate from the superintendent, and then that would indicate that everyone can get the release of their first half retention, because the main contractor will get the release of his first half retention, so therefore he can use that money to release the first half retention for all the subbies. And the other release, the second half release of retention, will occur 12 months after the certificate of practical completion. And during that 12 months, they hold the last 2.5% of your contract to make sure that you come back to fix your defects. Once you issue your final claim and they pay you the final payment certificate to release all of the payments, all your obligations stops. You don't need to come back for any more defects. You've been paid out everything under your contract and you've satisfied all obligations under your contract. Hey, if you found this video helpful, hit that like and subscribe button. We help subbies with their payment claims and their payment reconciliations all the time. Very, very common issue. If you want a copy of this payment claim template, just drop me an email on my website below, and I'll see you at the next video.